All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we are discussing the Dhana Yogas, and in the Dhana Yogas, we were discussing the yogas for speculative gains. How can you get yogas from shares, commodities and cryptos, and also we were discussing on the speculative and immediate accidental gains that you get in your life, and whether you should go in a speculative investments in life or not. That's what we discovered in the previous lecture. And so what I explained was that the karaka, you know of speculative gains, share market, is only one planet, and a lot of planet confuse it with Rahu or Mercury, which is absolutely wrong, right? The 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 planet which is karka of share and mega wealth is only one, which is Saturn, Shani, right? Shani is the only karka for stocks, right? If you invest in stocks, commodities, cryptos, right, you need to have certain placements of Saturn. And especially, if you have Saturn in the second house in the Rashi chart. I'm not going to the divisional charts until we have our proficiency in the Rashi chart, right? So if you have Saturn in the second house, right, and that Saturn is aspected by Jupiter, right, that is the best yoga, to have a lot of gains from the speculative you know vertical of a business. Also, to have mega wealth, the second house is very important. If there is an aspect, first there should be a planet in the second house, right? That's very, very important. And if you don't have planet in the second house, then check the first house. All right. Sorry, the yeah, of course, the first house, which is 12th from the second, and then check the third house. Okay, so if you have a planet in the second house and it is aspected by Jupiter, you will have a lot of gains in life, and the money will come to you without making any large efforts, right? But if it is in the Lagna, which is 12th from the second house, you will have to really work hard, you know, uh, in your life to get money. And if there is our planets in the third house, right, and Jupiter is aspecting the third house, then the money will come, but the money will come after fighting. You have to get the money. So intelligence would be required, and lot of fights would be required. So these were last two lectures, which I had tried to explain you, and I have requested you people to look at the various charts. Like I requested you to look at the chart of Dhirubhai Ambani. I requested you to look at the chart of Mukesh Ambani. I wanted you to look at the chart of Devraj Yudhishthir, that how you lose everything in gambling. And I also said that when you have Saturn in the Lagna, lot of money comes, through ethics. You're always confused between the ethics in life and, you know, or the money, because I have seen people returning money if you have Saturn in the Lagna. So if you play gamble with someone and you lose everything, and on opposite you have a person who has Saturn in the Lagna, he'll be so idealistic that he may return you the money in the morning. He said, okay, you lost so and so, my soul, my atma is not allowing you to get this money, or not feeling that, I'm not feeling it from inside. So here's your money, you take it back, and I don't need it, right? So that's what Saturn in the Lagna can do. It can makes you ethical. But on the same time, if you have a Capricorn Lagna, or you have a Sagittarius Lagna, for an instance, where the second lord is naturally Saturn, right, you would really want to gamble in life. You would really want money to come from shares or speculative gains, right, or any sort of business or job where the money can come suddenly, or you can make money over others. So that's how people would want. And they have, even if they don't do such things in their life, but still, they have lot of interest, in gambling, or they are excited to look at these things. So unfortunately, in this entire week, I did not get any chart from you people regarding Dhirubai, or so I thought that I'll do it for you in this lecture, right? So if you can't do it, I can do it for you. It's one and the same thing, right? So you can learn, with me, right? So I understand that you people are extremely busy in your lives and you have a lot of other works to do. So I can understand that. So these are secondary things when I give a homework. Don't worry, I'll do it for you, and I can do it. So I have brought these charts for you. I have, in fact, 4 charts for you today that we'll practice. We have a chart of Dhirubhai Ambani, we have chart of Mukesh Ambani, and you know what? To a surprise, I have a chart of Harshad Mehta also, right? So you would really enjoy that. The looking at the combinations, and I'll also make a chart for Devraj Yudhishthir so that you can understand that how you lose everything in gambling or in the share market. And also, before we go ahead, I'm going to teach you a new protocol, a new rule, going ahead with the Dhana Yogas. Okay, so let me, share my whiteboard. I'll teach you a yoga, and then we'll go to the charts, and we'll complete the homework in this lecture. Okay, so let me share the whiteboard with you people. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So another rule. So what is this rule number, Shashankji?
Guruji, 27.
Fantastic. So this is the 27th rule in the Dhana Yoga. And I think it is time to take test, one day for all the 35 rules that I'm going to teach you. I told you that, there are planets that are so important. First planet is the Surya. Surya Kundli is the Kundli that shows you how much wealth you have. Then the Chandra Kundli shows you the path, right? And then, Jupiter shows you the prosperity, from that, whether you'll have the real Dhana or not, right? And then we'll talk about Mercury as well. So we are talking of Jupiter, we have done Sun, we have done Moon. Now we are, in the end of discussing Jupiter and Mercury, and then over with the Dhana Yogas, right? So rule number 27 is that, let me make a chart for you first here. Make a Kundli. I'll define that, yoga for you. So we were talking about the importance of second house, right, in the Kundli when it comes to Dhana, the wealth. Okay, and that's one of the most extremely, I would say, important, not the most, but extremely important houses. And I said that there has to be a planet in the second house. So, I'm just making stars. So the second house, and then the first house and the third house are very, very important. And what we were talking was that you should have Saturn here, in the second house for speculative gains. Now, suppose this is, a Gemini rising, and you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So, we were talking that you must have, a drishti of a Jupiter, on the Saturn to make Saturn an extremely successful planet. So Jupiter has 5, 7, and 9 drishti. So let me place Jupiter here in the 6th house. So from 6th house, Jupiter will have, a graha drishti on Saturn. So this is the 9th aspect of Jupiter, right? So नौवां aspect जो है यहाँ पर Jupiter के पास है. This is what I told you, that you must have this thing to have mega wealth, especially from lot of businesses, from lot of speculative businesses where others work for you and you get money, right? बैठे बैठे पैसा आता है. So that has to be there. Okay, but on the same time, another thing is that when the money comes from such speculative gains, I have hardly seen people growing in their life. Hardly. What happened to such people is either they end up losing all the money, or you know, they make something very large, or they run away, they leave the country, or they are in the jail, right? I've seen, you take any such example, people who were into huge into share markets, at some point of time, they are in trouble in their life. To see that, how you can utilize this money is an art, and that can only be seen through a horoscope. You see, there is a dispositor theory that says that the dispositor carries the energy of that house. You know this, you've learned this, in Jyotish Acharya, and you all being the, Jyotisha students, that wherever the dispositor goes, it carries the energy of that bhava. Right now, I ask you this question. Suppose the dispositor of this particular Saturn is Venus, and this Venus sits here. Imagine for a second. Okay, this Venus sits here. So what is happening here? The energy. Now, what is the energy here? The energy is money. Okay. Now, the money or the gains, the gain is coming. It is coming for sure. Okay. But what is the flow? Where the flow is going to be? It's going to be in the 12th house. In the 12th house. Now, with business perspective, 12th house represents only two things. One, either you go to the foreign lands, you run away from the motherland, you've earned 5,000 crores, you've done all the nonsense, just get out of the country, go to the foreign lands, settle abroad permanently, and never come back. You will survive. Or you go to the jail. Simple. Nothing else. It does not represent anything else. That's it.
Guruji, can we say that money is coming, but money is also going out because of expenses and losses? Or no?
See, it's tons of money. Okay. When you go to jail, you lose the money automatically. You're nothing. You're left with nothing. I mean, look at Sahara, look at anyone. I mean, people who are 20,000, 40,000 crores company, you are in a jail. What is your worth? Nothing. I mean, it is a loss. It is an absolute loss. What if you have this dispositor, sitting in the 3rd house? Just tell me what is going to happen to your money. You are going to invest this money into new ventures. That's the 3rd house. You are going to invest money in a business which is a business of communication. Okay. What else? If it is in the 4th house, imagine the money will go into real estates. You can invest in comforts of life. You can have car showrooms, you can have automobiles, you can have real estate investments. In the 5th house, what do you expect? The money will go in the 5th house. You can invest this money in education.
Education children.
Colleges, universities. What happens if you have dispositor of this mega wealth Saturn in the 6th house? You should invest your money by repaying the loans. So what does that mean here? That means that you should take tons and tons of credits, right? You should make everything from credit. Even if you want to buy a pencil or a pen, you should buy it from a credit and then repay the credit. Simple. Because money has to go in repaying the debts. Simple. The debts has to be. See, whenever the 2nd lord goes in the 6th house, and especially you have Saturn sitting there and Jupiter aspecting that Saturn, which gives a yoga of mega wealth. Either you send your money to the hospitals, you make hospitals, right? Or you make financial corporations who can give money, like you have so many of them in India. non-banking financial corporations, NBFCs, right? You make such company, you take loan, you give loan, things will work for you. Similarly, if you have it in the 12th, right? Either you go abroad or you go to jail. There's no alternative. There's no alternative. Simple as that. You need to understand this, that where is this dispositor going? If it is in the 7th house, you must get into partnerships and associations. Must. If it is in the 8th house, you must get into mining, something which is underneath the earth. You must get into, businesses that have unexpected gains. You must get into such businesses. You should have your own share market portals, and you should handle such portals. You should have your own, like Harshad Mehta used to do. He used to invest for others. You should do any work which is secretive. If it is in the 9th house, you must invest money in the long distance. Exports, a lot of things, people were thinking, oh, the 12th house is exports. No, it is the 9th house. It is a long distance wealth. The wealth is coming from the long distance. It is the 9th house. You must start exports. You should import and export so many things. You should travel with this money. You can have a profession of travel and tourism. Make a 5-star hotel overseas with this money. Get a franchisee. You will do extremely well. 10th house means, Saturn in the 10th house or the dispositor of the 10th house. Now, this is very important. If you have Saturn in the 10th house or you have the dispositor of the Saturn sitting in the 10th house, your profession, your money, your gains will be speculative, always ups and downs. So why to face ups and downs in your profession? Why not get into a profession which is speculative? Now, any profession, you should go and buy an office on the Wall Street, sit there and start selling and purchasing. You'll see tons of speculations and chaos all around you. You have to be at the Wall Street, simple. Especially if you have Saturn in the 10th house, you must invest. But look if the Jupiter is helping the Saturn or not. If no, it's a big no. In the 11th house, you should work, in social society. Anything, if you invest for the society, you'll earn a lot of money. But in the 12th house, it is a dangerous position. 6, 8, and 12, trust me, is a very, very dangerous positions, because when you invest in debts, if something doesn't support, a dasha doesn't support, you're gone. So what am I saying here is you have to check the dispositor. But how will this rule fructify? ये फलित कैसे होगा? The best thing is that if this Jupiter has drishti on the dispositor, now this is the rule starting. The rule says you first check the dispositor of the Saturn in the 2nd house, and then check whether Jupiter is aspecting the dispositor or not. Jupiter is aspecting the dispositor or not. If the Jupiter is aspecting the dispositor, there is a scope of improvement. You will be fine. You will be fine. The dispositor being in Lagna is nothing. It is, dispositor being in Lagna is good, but my rule is that dispositor aspected by Jupiter? The dispositor has to be aspected by Jupiter. Simple. If it is not, and if it is in the 12th house or in the Lagna or anywhere else, not good. it should have an drishti of Guru. Second rule here is that the dispositor itself should aspect the Saturn. Suppose here the dispositor is Venus. And if Venus is sitting here in the 8th house, it is aspecting the Saturn itself. That's the rule number 28. Even that is fantastic. If the dispositor aspects its own house, the dispositor should aspect the own house where the Saturn is. Let's see them. Let me share the software, the Parashari here, and let me show you certain fantastic things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to show you 2 or 3 things. This is Mukesh Ambani. Where is the Saturn here? Come on. Where is the Saturn? Second house?
Second house.
This is Harshad Mehta. Where is the Saturn?
Second house.
Second house.
This is Dhirubhai Ambani. Where is the
Second house.
Saturn?
Second house.
Second house.
You see, there cannot be so many coincidences, ladies and gentlemen.
Hmm.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Did you see this? 3 big people, right? You got Dhirubhai, you got Mukesh Bhai, and you got Harshad Mehta. Now you see Mukesh Ambani first. Who is the dispositor here?
Mars.
Mars.
Mars. Do we have Jupiter aspect on Shani?
No.
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 No. Dispositor is having any aspect of Jupiter?
No.
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 No aspect.
No aspect.
Is Mars aspecting its own house?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This
Hmm.
is one of the major Raj Yogas. Okay. Let's go to Harshad Mehta. What is the dispositor?
Venus.
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 Where is the Venus going?
12th house.
Is it
Last J.
aspected by Jupiter? By
No.
anything? Any drishti, Rashi drishti,
No.
Grah drishti?
Rashi Drishti.
Yeah.
How Rashi drishti? No Rashi drishti.
No,
of course.
nothing.
no,
Nothing.
no,
Nothing.
no.
No.
So Jupiter is aspecting through Graha Drishti.
How?
No. How?
How?
Saturn.
2, 3, 4. Sorry.
You
Yeah,
need a cup
Saturn.
of tea. You need a cup of tea.
Yes, Jupiter is aspecting Saturn.
See, Jupiter
Yeah,
is aspecting
so-
Saturn, so he made mega wealth. He lifted the
wealth.
market. He just destroyed the market.
Hmm.
He's so intelligent in this share and gambling. Jupiter aspecting Saturn, fantastic. But where did the money go?
J.
The
Lost.
dispositor
Well-
theory I just explained. See, people earn, but they are left with nothing.
Correct.
This is the theme of the lecture that I'm trying to explain you people today.
Yeah, today lecture is on this one.
The previous
to say this
lecture
is
was Jupiter aspecting Saturn. Oh,
Hmm.
5th aspect of Jupiter. This guy
Hmm.
will do something big.
Hmm.
He did big. He manipulated the entire banking system. The entire banking system was on the toes. You're like, wow, क्या दिमाग है इसका? या तो ये abroad चला जाता. He should have left India. He would have survived. He would have made a mega wealth outside, but he never wanted to. So where did he has to go? He has to
Jail.
go to the jail. The only graha that would have saved him was Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Nothing. Although Venus has the Rashi Drishti on Saturn.
Hmm.
You see, Venus had the Rashi Drishti on the Saturn, isn't? But that Rashi Drishti is coming from the 12th house. I'm sorry. Because Venus first reached the 12th house. And you know what? What did he do when he went to the jail? He enhanced the jail also. He worked a lot in the jail. You understand? He's famous. I don't know, but a lot of people, he's an inspiration for a lot of people, isn't? The way he's worked. But one thing is for sure here. You know what is one thing which is sure? That when a dispositor has to aspect its own house, it should not be from the Rashi Drishti. It should be always from the Graha Drishti. Graha Drishti is a desire to save that Saturn. And Rashi Drishti is accidental. Accidental Drishti may not work in the dispositor theory. That's the rule number, or that's an exception, number 29. Talk about Graha Drishti. Do not talk about Rashi Drishti. Because when you're saying, you're saving someone with a desire. You do not save someone accidentally. That's very abnormal to save someone accidentally. You go and join army, not accidentally, but out of desire. And if you join army accidentally, you don't serve your country. Simple. You can only save someone if you have desire to save someone. If you do not have a desire to save someone, you will never save that person. You will never die for your motherland if you don't have desire to die. You'll never fight for the motherland if you accidentally, reach army or defense services. No. It is very accidental. It's 1 in a million who could do that. Look at the chart of Dhirubhai here. What is the Dhirubhai chart saying here? Dhirubhai chart has Saturn and Jupiter is aspecting the Saturn.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. And who is the dispositor?
Saturn itself.
Oh my God. It's the Saturn itself. This is huge. Now, the dispositor is also aspected by the Jupiter in the same house, making the Swarashi Shani in the Dvitiya Bhava. And it is a slap on the face of the people who say Kal Sarp Dosha is pathetic.
Correct. There is
It's a
all
slap.
planets, sir.
It's a slap.
Rahu in third
Although
house
his-
is also benefit.
Although his initial years of life were difficult, but then what an end. What an end. Shanti, you want to say something?
Guruji, in the Mukesh Ambani's chart, there was no drishti of Jupiter on Saturn. So does that mean that he did not generate the mega wealth? He's just growing it, multiplying it through that Mars drishti?
You see, isn't the Saturn aspecting Jupiter here? Come on, tell me.
Yeah.
Remember the rule of second generation?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got it?
Hmm.
It is making complete sense. In the first generation, the Saturn should aspect, no, the Jupiter should aspect the Saturn. In the second generation of business, Saturn should aspect Jupiter. This is something I taught you around 4 lectures ago.
Yeah.
Do you see that? How
Yeah.
beautiful. This is amazing. This is so beautiful.
Guruji,
Look
what
how-
happens if there's a nakshatra involved? Like if Saturn is in the nakshatra of Jupiter?
Nothing happens. It is an advantage, just an advantage.
And Saturn in the nakshatra of its dispositor?
Just an advantage. Guru has to see through a drishti. The drishti of the Guru is the most important, not the energy, not the powerhouse. It is the drishti. The aspect is so important. The placement of the dispositor is so important. If the dispositor placement is not good, nothing works. Nothing works. Yeah, we can go to the Harshad Mehta's chart again, Sunny. Look at what he's trying to say. Do you see this Saraswati yoga in the 10th house? This is phenomenal. And do you see one common thing? This is an Amavasya yoga here in the 11th house of Harshad, and Dhirubai, it's in the Lagna, the Amavasya yoga. You see, for the Dhirubai, it's in the Lagna, and for Harshad, it is in the 11th house. What is this Amavasya yoga? It makes a person obsessive, and when you can channelize this obsession, it is absolutely fantastic. So a lot of people say Amavasya yoga, bad, this, that. In the later stages of your life, in your early 30s, this Amavasya yoga, if you can channelize, if you can become Shiva devotees or Ganesha devotees, this Amavasya dosha can make you large. And if you read about Harshad Mehta, if you read about, Dhirubai, both were Shiva and Ganesha devotees, both of them. Complete Shiva. When you take huge amount of risk, which are exceptional, which nobody else can take, you need a bad moon. Simple. You need a bad moon. You seriously need a bad moon to take bigger things ahead. A good moon will give you a 9-to-5 white collar job and you'll be satisfied with your Toyota. A bad moon, you need a Lamborghini. You need it. You'll get it. You need a bad moon to do something big in life. The moon should be afflicted. But you need bad moon to actually destroy things as well. I must tell you that. But the only thing is principle number 30. Nanta, give me 5 minutes, I'll lose the flow. Give me 5 minutes.
No problem.
Right? So what happens here is the rule number 30 says that you have to see that Saturn is in a male sign or in a female sign. If Saturn is in a male sign, okay, so tell me which is a male sign and which is a female sign. Who's going to tell me this?
All
All the
the
odds are
odd numbers.
Odd numbers.
Even and odd.
All the odd numbers are
Male side,
male
Yeah.
signs, and all the even numbers are
female
Even
side.
female signs.
Even
So, ladies and gentlemen, if these are odd numbers, 1, 3, 7, okay, these are all odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, okay, I must tell you that chances of you hit into someone and lose and break yourself is more. Like, in Jyotisha, all the male signs are known as bull. They're known as a bull. Okay. So they behave like a bull because they have this tendency to hit people. What is the tendency of the bull? It has tendency to hit who's coming in the way. So what happens? The bull can hit himself one day. He cannot hit a truck. He cannot hit a wall. You see that those ads where a bull is like running, and he hits a wall, breaks a wall and break himself. So many cartoons you must have seen such in your life. So you see what is the difference between this Shani of Harshad Mehta and Shani of Mukesh Ambani and Dhirubhai Ambani. Look again here. What sign is this? What sign? It's a male sign or a female sign?
male.
Male sign.
Male side.
Come on, it's a male sign or a female sign? It's a male sign, okay? Okay, in Harshad Mehta. Okay, what about Mukesh Ambani? What sign is this?
Female.
But what about here?
Female.
Okay, what about here? What sign is this?
Female.
It's a female. Female here? Huh? Female here. What about here? Male. And all the female signs are denoted by a bear. What is the quality of a bear? Bear wants to hug. Bear wants to take everyone in the lap. What is the companies of Mukesh doing? Aren't they
Acquiring
taking,
other companies.
acquiring other companies? Acquiring other companies. They are not going to hit. They are not going to fight with the company. They are just simply going to acquire a company. What was wrong with Harshad Mehta? Harshad Mehta wants to fight with the system. You see, try and understand what I'm trying to tell you. If this Saturn is in a male sign, or your any planet which is in the Dhan Yoga, the second house, or the first house, or the third house, are in the male sign, you will fight for no reason. You will try to change the system and you can get into losses. But if they are in the female sign, you will have better approach. You'll grab the opportunity and you'll acquire things. Did you understand or not? Ladies and gentlemen, did you understand or not? As you know, it is the Saturn in the male signs, honestly speaking, is a dangerous Saturn. Saturn in the female signs is better. Is better. So now tell me, now this will create some fear in your minds. Saturn is going to transit in Aquarius in January. It is going from a female sign to
Male sign.
ah. So whatever nonsense is happening on the YouTube, it is going to benefit these, it is going to benefit that. I'm coming up a video by Wednesday, which is a complete nakshatra based video with explaining you how the Saturn works in Aquarius, right? You'll understand. You need to be conscious. You need to do certain remedies immediately based on Lagna. And I'm going to do this video both in English and Hindi. And I'm going to do this Lagna wise, so that you can understand that, look, this Saturn in a male sign is going to behave extremely different than what you are expecting. You just cannot say that, you know, if Saturn is transiting this horoscope of Mukesh Ambani in the 5th house, he's going to enhance with the children will grow, the education investment will happen. No. This is crappy. Such videos are crap. If you waste your 1 hour watching such video, it's nothing. The first thing is that Saturn is going to transit in a male sign. That is why Aquarius is a Mula Trikona. Office. Home is a female, okay? You see, so 10 is a female for Saturn. When it says work, and office is Aquarius. So when Saturn is at home, he's behaving like a female. He's caring, he's hugging, he's doing whatever, it's fine. You know, he's trying to give you medicine, corona times, new research and development, accidents, karam bhogna, everything was happening there, January 2020 to this time. But now, this Saturn can hit you back. Because if your karmas were bad, you know, this Saturn with either will definitely take you to a rise, but this Saturn has ability to hit you back badly. So don't get excited. Be ready for certain remedies. Be more disciplined, be more hardworking. If you sit home and if you don't work hard in your life, it is going to hit you back that you've not even imagined. I'm telling you. Pack up your bags, tie your boots, and start working. If you don't, you're in trouble. That easy thing that you felt in Capricorn Saturn is going to be over. That's what transits do in the male signs. What sign is Jupiter? It's a female sign, no? Jupiter is relaxed. Let Jupiter enter the male sign in April 2023. The education, wellness, spirituality, everything will be on the toes. It's going to aspect Leo, it's going to aspect Libra, it's going to aspect Sagittarius. That should be the approach when you are doing transits. You must understand that what sign, is it a sign that is going to hit someone, or is it a sign that is going to hug someone? Interesting, no? Interesting. Go back and check the history of the transits. Go back and check. Don't we want 8th Lord to be strong as well as with Saturn's placement? Mukesh Ambani case, Venus is combust. You see, Venus is Astangata. Now, there is a difference between now Astangatas is also two types. One, when a planet is behind the sun, and one when the planet is ahead of sun. Okay, there is a difference. So when a planet is behind the sun, it is in the dark, and that is a bad Astangata. When a planet is ahead of the sun, what is Venus doing here? Is it behind the sun or ahead of the sun?
Ahead.
Ahead.
That
what
you have
does
told
that-
in the combust class, Guruji.
What
you
does
have
that
cleared.
mean? What does that mean, Sunny? Come on, tell me. What does that mean when a planet is Astangata, but it is ahead of the sun?
Coming out of the combustion.
Moving away, but what else? Behind
Like
the
sun
sun.
will make him shine.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the word I'm looking at. Behind the sun Astangata, it's dark. Ahead of the sun Astangata, sun is going to make him extremely, shining like anything. That's point number one. Point number two is the wealth came from where? From a already government approved or a national system. When he acquired Reliance, or when he took the charge of his dynasty, everything was already organized. He has to work in a system, and he adopted the system. You understand? That's the Astangata Shukra. And with the Mercury, definitely it is making a Lakshmi yoga. Another thing, you see, here Venus is in the sign of Mars,
Mars,
and Mars is in the sign of,
Venus.
which
Venus.
gives another level of strength to Venus.
Hmm.
You know what? This Parivartan strength is the strength which comes from Vishnu.
Hmm.
You understand? This Parivartan strength is a strength which comes from Krishna. You will see this in the chart of Yudhishthira. You'll see this. Yes, yes.
Guruji, can I ask my question
Sure.
now?
Sure.
How do you reconcile when you don't see it from the ascendant, but in the moon lagna, it's extremely strong? The rules that we're talking about, Saturn being in the second house, in a parivartan with Jupiter. How do you reconcile that when the moon lagna is so strong,
See,
but the
moon is-
ascendant is
see,
not strong
yeah,
at all?
See, the moon is only the path. So
Mm,
there you can have success in your path, but may not have the overall victory.
hmm,
You see, your journey was good. Your journey was supportive. Your
mhm,
journey was excited. But eventually, you could not make it mega. You understand?
mhm.
See, from the Rashi, it is showing you what you are in front of the society,
Mhm.
right? Samaj. It's the extreme outer layer, okay? It's an extreme outer layer. The Chandra is the layer which is inside your mind, the way you are living the life, not how you are living the life. How you are living life, is either the Rashi chart, and the environment of how you're living life is from the Surya Kundli.
Right. The Surya and the Moon Kundli are the same.
Yeah. So technically the path will be good, great.
Mhm.
But then, it is the Rashi chart which will be the final signing authority. Will it be a mega or not?
Got it.
That's the
Okay.
last sign. That is why we look at the last sign first, that who did sign his chart. That's the last sign. And then we go deep, 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 deep. It's like the final P&L statement. And
Right.
then you go into the deep concepts. Okay, where is the money coming from? I'll see all the computations and everything. Yes, Parul.
Guruji, I just wanted to know if the second lord and the fifth lord, sorry, let me step back. If Saturn is in the second house and then the dispositor is in the fifth house and they are doing an exchange, like because you talked about parivartan, I wanted to know that, like in this parivartan, like Saturn, even though it's supposed to give you money because it's in the second house,
It is
but
not
the
supposed to give you money in the second house. Sorry. Saturn will give you money in the second house if you have a drishti of Jupiter on it. If you don't have the Jupiter drishti, then you don't go further. No? Then the dispositor, exchange, nothing is going to work. You first tell me if there is a Jupiter drishti or not. If there's no Jupiter drishti, then you look at the dispositor. Okay, is there a drishti on the dispositor or not?
like
If-
Saturn's distri or Jupiter's distri on the
No.
dispositor.
Dispositor should have the drishti of Jupiter.
Not there.
Not there. You see, that's the most important thing. Look at the Dhirubhai's chart. Shani, second lord, Jupiter, fifth drishti. Shani, it's its own dispositor. Again, Jupiter's fifth drishti. That's amazing. Look at here. Shani, has a fifth, drishti of Jupiter, but the dispositor to complete this, Dhirubhai Ambani has the drishti of Jupiter on the dispositor itself. But if Harshad Mehta would have had the Jupiter drishti on Venus somehow, this guy would have never gone to the jail and he would have made it big. So two important things to have mega wealth and then prosperity in the wealth is one, that Jupiter should aspect the Shani in the second house. Two, that Jupiter should also aspect the dispositor of the Shani.
That's the prosperity.
क्योंकि गुरु का जो दृष्टि है, गुरु का जो आशीर्वाद है, वो आपकी कमाई पे पहले आपके दिमाग पे होना चाहिए कि आपको पैसा कहाँ से आएगा, आप कर पाओगे नहीं कर पाओगे. उसके बाद जब पैसा आ जाएगा, even that money should have a drishti of Jupiter wherever that particular money is sitting. अगर इसका जुपिटर का दृष्टि यहाँ पर होता, इमेजिन करिए इनका जुपिटर 6th हाउस में होता, हर्षद मेहता का, अगर 6th हाउस में होता तो शनि के ऊपर दृष्टि आता, नवम दृष्टि, ठीक है, और सप्तम दृष्टि किस पे आता, शुक्र पे आता.
Yes.
ये फॉरेन लैंड्स में किंग होता, इसको कुछ नहीं होता. इसको कोई ना कोई फॉरेन की कंपनी, फॉरेन की गवर्नमेंट बोलती यू कम एंड स्टे विद अस, यू इन्वेस्ट इन अवर कंट्री, वी आर पुअर, व्हाटएवर यू हैव डन इन इंडिया फाइन, कम टू अस. ये बच जाता, ये जेल में नहीं जाता. इसका एक बड़ा जिंदगी का एक बड़ा पार्ट एंड वो जेल में नहीं जाता. My agenda for here is to tell you the importance of Jupiter in the wealth. That is why I'm teaching these Dhana yogas, share market yogas. इससे पहले वाली क्लास में, prior to this class, I have completely and clearly explained you how you can become super in the share market, in the speculative. How can you win a lottery even? These same yogas are the yogas that can make you win a lottery. And when you get money in from the shares or from a crypto, it's a feeling of a lottery. आपके बैठे बैठे पैसे 5 गुना हो जाते हैं, 10 गुना हो जाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं लगता लॉटरी लग गई. The money is coming. समझो इस बात को.
And Jupiter anyways is a big planet, तो वो expand ही करेगा. So whatever he's looking at, it's supposed to expand it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
ये आपने किसी लेक्चर में गुरुजी आपने पहले भी बोला था कि जब मेल राशि में कोई भी प्लैनेट हो जाता है तो उसको ठीक करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. आई एम
मुश्किल
रिकॉलिंग
होता है वो ना, वो हिट करता है.
जी.
वो हिट करता है. फीमेल में के अंदर वो भगवान की शरण में जाकर किसी गुरु की बात मान के वो बच जाता है. यही मेल और फीमेल लगन में भी दिक्कत है. जो फीमेल लगन होगा ना वो कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लेगा कहीं ना कहीं पर. जो मेल लगन होगा ना वो नॉन कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग होता है, वो लड़ेगा. आप किसी का चार्ट उठा लो, किसी का चार्ट उठा लो, फालतू में लड़ेगा. ये देखिए ना हर्षद मेहता का कौन सा लगन है, फीमेल लगन है. लड़ ही नहीं पाया, लड़ ही नहीं पाया. अंदर हो गया ना. कोशिश पूरी की सिस्टम बदलने की. इवेंचुअली गिव अप. ही वाज इनसाइड, डन, ही वाज कॉट. इधर देख रहे हो आप कौन सा लगन है?
ऑड.
Male.
मेल.
मेल.
यहां पर कौन सा लगन है?
मेल.
समझ रहे हो आप मेरी बात? These people will fight till the end. They are fighters and they will fight with the brain. लगन मेल चाहिए, शनि फीमेल कुंडली में चाहिए, फीमेल राशि में चाहिए. अगर द्वितीय भाव में, समझिए इस बात को. लुक एट योर 10th लॉर्ड. अपना 10th लॉर्ड देखो. अगर आपका 10th लॉर्ड इज इन अ मेल साइन, you will fight in your profession. If your 10th lord is in a female sign, you'll hug in your profession. You'll keep on hugging people. You'll take on very gently with brain. You'll try to acquire things. If your 10th lord is in a male sign, you're fighting. Yes, no, maybe. You see, let me, make the chart for you people for Devraj Yudhishthir. Because उनका date of birth नहीं है. I've got the chart from my sources. उनका चार्ट देखते हैं. इंटरेस्टिंग चार्ट है. आप खुद विवेचन करना. You people will do all the things here. You will see how the things are. Like, how do you lose everything? So he was Sagittarius Lagna. Huh? What is the tendency of Sagittarius Lagna?
To
Right.
make kings.
Huh?
To make kings.
Sagittarius and Capricorn Lagan की tendency क्या होती है? They get
Speculation.
excited towards gambling. I just told in the beginning of the class.
Second lord is Saturn.
Second lord is Saturn. Natural tendency. Ketu was here. Rahu is here. Mangal is here along with exalted Jupiter here. Sun is here Saturn and Mercury here, and Moon and Venus here. Okay. Any drishti on Saturn of Jupiter?
No.
No drishti? Okay.
No.
Whatsoever, there's no drishti. They got exiled for how many years? Pandavas.
14.
या क्या बोलते हो 14 तो
Oh,
राम
sorry,
जी को
13. 13.
they've got around 12 years of exile. Okay.
Plus 1, Guruji, for
अच्छा,
this one.
Agyatwas
जो-
one.
हाँ तो प्लस
अज्ञातवास।
1 so 13 हो गए. हाँ
13.
14 मत बोलो 13. एक साल आप एक साल आप मत ऐड कर दो यार, क्या बिगाड़ा उन्होंने आपने. So 13. हाँ 13 years. So did were they able to make money in her life? Saturn, no drishti of Jupiter, no association of Jupiter here, not even graha drishti, no rashi drishti, nothing. Now the natural tendency was that they can gamble. और दुर्योधन ने उनका चार्ट दिखाया होगा किसी को जाके, वो बोला इनको गैम्बलिंग में लेकर आओ. Okay, they will lose everything. Shakuni, they will lose everything. Saturn is exalted in the 11th house. Where is the dispositor?
The
12th.
12th.
12th house.
12th
And it is
house.
sitting with debilitated moon.
Moon.
But you see, this moon will eventually save this Venus. How? Because it has an Parivartan Raj Yoga with Mangal. Is it there? परिवर्तन है मंगल के साथ चंद्र का.
हाँ.
ठीक है ना? There's a परिवर्तन. So who is moon?
Krishna.
And there will be a hidden support from Krishna. The Krishna will become the Sarthi of Arjuna. Hidden. Nobody knows. Nobody knows it. That Krishna will actually motivate Arjuna, and he will make sure that Hanumanji is with Arjuna on the Rath. हनुमान जी साथ में थे रथ में, क्योंकि आप विष्णु जी और शिवा को अलग नहीं कर सकते, राम और हनुमान को अलग नहीं कर सकते. And Arjuna was there. So what do you learn from this chart? You learn is that look at the dispositor. Dispositor here also has the Jupiter drishti. You see, eventually the wife was saved. Who saved the wife? How did Mangal save the wife? On the spot, how did one was moon taking care of the Draupadi, huh? But how did Mangal save the wife? Because at the same time, Bhim got up. Bhim got up and he said that if you touch her one more time, मैं सौगंध खाकर कहता हूं कि अभी तुम्हारा छाती को खोल के उसमें से जिंदा दिल निकाल के मैं अभी के अभी खून पीऊंगा. मैं शपथ लेता हूं अभी के अभी. He said these things right away. Whatever is the protocol, he'll do it. He said that. And what happened after that? What happened after that? The father of the Duryodhana, he said, stop everything here. Because उसे पता था कि ये बोल रहा है ये कर देगा. You see Mangal and Chandra taking care of Venus, the dispositor of this Saturn. He lost everything, including the wife. These are the horoscopes where the natural tendency of losing money is there if you have the second lord as a Saturn and there's no aspect of Jupiter, but the dispositor had the aspect of Jupiter. Eventually, the things were returned, but there was so much of chaos and there was so much of fight in between that.
Really, also if you see there's aspect of Saturn on Jupiter. So second generation, so he got it in inheritance, the kingdom.
Absolutely. Saturn का aspect कैसे है Jupiter पे? By the way.
Yeah, 10th,
Oh,
right?
yeah, the 10th drishti.
10th
Okay.
aspect.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yes, Surya.
10 drishti.
Yes, the 10th drishti is there. So the second generation will rule what they have got from the first. Fantastic observation. Absolutely fantastic. So with this, you can see if your Saturn is aspecting Jupiter or your Saturn is sitting with the Jupiter, that means your children will take care of your wealth.
Also, Guruji, the dispositor that you mentioned and the parivartan that happens between Moon and the Mars. So does that indicate that he got it back through a war?
So that does indicate what?
Does that indicate that he got this back through a war?
Yes, it has to be through a war. It has to be through a loss. And here Mars is making what? What is this Mars making?
It's a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga.
It is a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga through a Rashi Drishti here, isn't it? It is a Neech Bhanga. So first they will be destroyed and unki bezati hogi, and then they'll come out as a winner. That is the meaning of the exact meaning of a Neech Bhanga. So if you have a Neech Bhanga, I mean, you have to be destroyed first and then you rejuvenate. That is the meaning of a Neech Bhanga. I think it's almost 65 minutes and I'm feeling as if it's only 10 minutes have passed. I think we should go carry on and on and on. ये होमवर्क आपको दिया था, आपने तो किया नहीं, फिर मैंने आपके लिए किया है थोड़ा अच्छे तरीके से, क्योंकि अगर आप ग्रुप में ये सब डालते हो तो फिर हम आज अगला लेक्चर कर रहे होते, 2 प्रिंसिपल के बाद 3 प्रिंसिपल और सिखा चुका होता. सो आई थॉट कि चलो करते हैं, ये इम्पोर्टेंट था. दिस वाज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट था ये, कि पैसा आ तो रहा है लेकिन पैसा जा कहाँ रहा है. आपको यहाँ से ये भी पता लग जाता है अगर आपका सेकंड लॉर्ड कहाँ बैठा है तो आपको कहाँ पे पैसा लगाना चाहिए. सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ पे एक और क्लियर हुआ. आपकी कुंडली में अपना सेकंड लॉर्ड देखो, लुक एट द सेकंड लॉर्ड इन योर हॉरोस्कोप, सी वेयर इट इज सिटिंग एंड देन डिसाइड वेयर कैन यू इन्वेस्ट. Second lord in the 3rd house, the new ventures will succeed. Second lord in the 4th house, invest at home, property, comforts, car. You will gain money from the cars. आप एक गाड़ी खरीदोगे 50 लाख की, 2 साल बाद आप उसको 55 लाख में बेचोगे. कैसे? क्योंकि उसी गाड़ी की नई की कीमत 80 लाख हो चुकी होगी, वो सेकंड हैंड ही 55 की बिक्री होगी. When you have second lord in the 4th house. It happened to me many times. My second lord is in the 4th house. Second lord in the 5th house, invest in education. Second lord in the 6th house, invest in health services. Invest in taking money. Debts लो, कर्जे उठाओ और अपनी सारी इनकम कर्जों को पे करने में लगाओ. Second lord in the 7th house, get a good partner. Look at the chart of the partner before doing the partnership. Go for partnership. That's how you do. And that is, when do you invest? You invest from your savings. So that is why second lord is considered, not the 11th or the 7th lord. Never invest from your income. Never invest from your profits. Always invest from your savings. Invest your savings. That is the best way to invest. And how tragic it is when people invest, after taking loans. I got a case a couple of weeks ago. That person took a business loan, not a business, a personal loan of 20 lakh rupees and invested in the share market and lost everything. 20 gone in the share and 20 gone with the bank. He's under -40. 20 के साथ और 20 उड़ा दिया उसने. And you know what? The interest of this business loan is quite around 17-18% per year. And since he was not able to pay the EMIs, it has gone on to the compound interest, which has gone to 26%. Now he was about to sell his home. Now, Guruji, please save me. Yes, Raman.
सर इसी में ऐड करूंगा, मेरा सेकंड लॉर्ड 6 में है, मार्स मगा नक्षत्र में. मैंने लास्ट 3 साल में यही देखा है. मैंने पहले पर्सनल लोन लिया 20 लाख का, मैंने घर बनाया, वो 3 साल में खत्म कर लिया. जो भी मैं लोन लेता हूँ वो मैं जल्दी खत्म कर लेता हूँ. जो आप बता रहे हैं ना कि लोन लो उसको रीपे कर दो सैलरी से, बट वो लोन गैम्बलिंग वाला नहीं होना चाहिए.
Exactly. अगर आपका सेकंड लॉर्ड 6th हाउस में ना, लोन लेने से मत डरो, लेकिन उस लोन को जुए में मत हारो. आपकी सारी चीजें बन जाएंगी. You'll get all the things in the world. These are basic principles of the wealth. So I hope this has helped. Right? I think you would have enjoyed the class. And tomorrow we have gemstones workshop. So I have a lot of prayers to do for you all and for myself so that we can make it successful and big. Right? So see you all tomorrow. I hope everyone must have enrolled, and people who have not enrolled, still they have chance to enroll. Right? And see you tomorrow then, and I'll stop